Welcome to, well, at least for the Southern Hemisphere, and at least for some people, 2021. Happy New Year. Happy New Year from everyone at Eflowtion, myself, my wife, Rebecca. Wishing you a very happy and prosperous New Year. Sorry, just gonna pop, there we go, cool. So yeah, welcome to the first intuitive EFT Tap and Chat for 2021. Let's see what the new year brings. And I guess with each new year brings a New Year's resolution. So I thought we'd do an EFT Tap and Chat, an intuitive EFT Tap and Chat. I still can't get that right. Sorry, I just took my phone out. I just realized, cool. Otherwise that will be on in the background. An intuitive EFT Tap and Chat on New Year, but same you. So with all these intuitive EFT Tap and Chats, we'll tap along on the side of our palm. There is a meridian point there. You can tap either side, or if you know the points, you can tap along as I basically do a little bit of an intuitive chat on, I guess, like as the banner for the Facebook Live was like the number one thing to resolve to help you achieve your New Year's resolution. And I guess with every New Year's resolution, I'm not a big one for setting New Year's resolutions, but I thought I might give a quick little, whether it's a hack or a shortcut if you're in a labyrinth, a shortcut to actually maybe getting to what might impede or get in the way of achieving your New Year's resolution. So whatever your New Year's resolution is, this might be the thing that's getting in your way of achieving a New Year's resolution. With all intuitive EFT Tap and Chats, it's merely a reframing of ways of looking at different points of view. And once again, if we get stuck in our point of view, or if we only see one part of what we want to see, then and if that part isn't quite working from us, sometimes we just need to broaden our point of view, or reframe very stuck beliefs possibly. And stuck kind of ties into what we're going to be talking about today. Now, as I do, I went on a bit of a research hunt, and no language professional or anything like that, so I'm probably going to butcher it quite badly. But I looked up New Year's resolution to actually see what it means. I guess the big part of change is actually understanding what you're actually changing. And like, it's very vague where it comes to what the resolution part means, because resolution can mean many different things. Simply, like, from what I can remember, it was like an untying, a loosening of a lessening of the word. When you look at the word resolution, it's the root of the word. But where it can take on different meanings is, like, I mean, even the word resolution, if you break down the word, it's solution and so finding a solution or happening again, like recycle. So, or it can also mean finding like a resolution to something as far as solving a problem, or breaking things down into the lesser forms, like breaking a problem apart to find a resolution. It can also take on, like with a camera sort of thing, like the resolution of the lens, your pixels and all that, the sharper the resolution, the sharper the picture, the lower quality of the resolution, you don't quite see the picture quite well. And from what I can see, there was something about a peacock there for a while. It was like eating peacocks. It was like, but when with the resolution in the New Year's resolution, it was like almost being resolute in, I guess, whatever you choose. So being resolute, being, I guess, somewhat fixed on your end goal and being so resolute that you'll achieve it. And I guess with everything that you set a goal or an intention on, sometimes, like whether it's, I don't want to say a realistic goal because all goals are realistic. It may be the preparation in getting a goal. Could be like, say, if you've never run a marathon and your New Year's resolution is to run a marathon in a week, sort of thing. It's like, I'm saying it can't, not that it can't be done. I'm just saying the practicalities and the preparation into it. So that's sort of what I mean. So we've all, whenever you set a goal on something, especially something that, because I guess we like in a New Year's resolution, if you're setting something, you're finding a solution to a problem that was in your life that come the new year. That's the part I don't. It's like, why wait for a new year? Why not tomorrow? Like when you look at a solution for it, and especially things like I know a lot of people set like, I'll lose all this weight, or I'll gain all this weight, or a lot of weight things for New Year's resolutions, or I'll give up drinking, or I'll drink less, or you know, I'll exercise more, or I'll hit the gym more. A gymnasium, not Jim himself. He's a nice guy. Sorry, my brain just had to go. I'm tired. But where you set your resolution, sort of thing. I guess in the sense that when you're finding a solution to something, it's almost, you could say it's almost, there's a form of a, yeah, like a desperation to get your end goal, whether it's to lose weight, whether it's to give up drinking, smoking, another one, whatever it is. Like, I'm just being generalistic in whatever New Year's resolution that you want to be resolute in. Now, sometimes that desperation, like it's almost like that voice in the back of your head is like that like nagging. It's like, it's like you didn't do that today, or it's like you're not really holding up to your New Year's resolution. It's a weekend and you're already having another smoke, or whatever it is, sort of thing. It's like that little judge and jury that's on the good devil bad. No, sorry. Though technically, when you go back, the good angel and the bad devil, whatever. But silently judging that you're not getting your New Year's resolution. Now, that can be, especially when you're trying to improve yourself or move out of a place of, I guess, unhealthiness, where it's not serving your life that greatly. If you're not achieving that, and all, like, there's feelings of guilt and shame that come up on that, and a whole myriad of emotions that can come up. Anger, it's like punishing yourself. Like, what will other people think if I've gone out there and said I'll do this and it doesn't eventuate, or doesn't come into fruition. Now, all those things that when you've set your New Year's resolution, and it's like, well, and then this is the part that I can't get my head around. It's like, well, I didn't do it at the start of this year. I'll wait until the end of next year to set. It's like, once again, it's like there's always a tomorrow. But if you don't achieve your New Year's resolution, yeah, you can feel probably a bit crap in yourself. And to set a resolution, to be resolute, takes that determination, takes that, I guess, a discipline in a sense, and not discipline in the punishing sense, just a routine, a daily practice of, to get, like, say, in the example of running the marathon in a week sort of thing, I guess being practical and knowing your current level of fitness and then slowly adding on to it sort of thing until you are of that, rather than punishing yourself and then running the marathon where you might end up in hospital, so that sort of thing. So when setting that resolution to improve yourself, to improve your life, whether you've told a whole heap of people, that level of discipline, that level of mindset, that level of daily practice to get your achieved goal can be very stressful. It can be very stressful to actually maintain it. I mean, even for a routine, I think they say it takes 3 weeks before it basically becomes, well, routine, where you don't have to think about it anymore. It's just a daily part of your life now. Now, that amount of stress can actually be the thing that stops you from achieving your New Year's resolution. It can also be the thing that actually started your New Year's resolution. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Because this is the number one thing to actually reduce in your New Year's resolution, is the stress. So here's what I mean by that. So say in this sense of dieting, now dieting, say in the example of your maybe wanting to eat less, I'll go with eat less because that seems to be a common one. You're wanting to diet, you want to cut back on your food, and of course your body needs time to adjust to that, and I'm no health dieting person, and that can put a stress on the body. What it's continually consuming is no longer there. And with dieting as well, it's like one diet might work for some people and one diet might work for another person, or one diet might have dire consequences for some people, one diet might have good consequences, and there might be certain foods in that diet that do well for you, but not other foods. And I guess when you look at your own gut biome sort of thing, it's like we're all unique individuals, so different foods, like for myself, like ginger is something that, like, definitely at night I can't drink, and that because it makes me quite irritable, to be honest. It produces a lot of heat in the body. So, but for another person, ginger is awesome, sort of thing. So, in the sense of like our individual guts, and because our guts kind of control some of our emotions, because when you think about it, when you're hungry, you're the most happiest person. I think that's where the term hangry came from, a mix of hungry and angry. So it's like sometimes, like when you're playing with that gut biome, finding the right diet that works for you. And if you're solely relying on just a diet in itself, that can also put the body under stress. It's like there needs to be a combination of other tools in there, whether it's exercise, whatever it is. Now, I guess getting your gut biome checked is probably a good place to start. Knowing what foods, and as a money saver, you know what to actually eat. There are companies out there that do that. Now, sometimes when we look at the term comfort eating, or we just eat what we like because it brings us comfort. There's certain, like the chocolates, the good foods, or the junk food and all that sort of thing. there is like those foods that we eat that brings comfort. Now, when you reframe it and look at it in a different sense, what are you having comfort from? Why do you need comfort? What are you escaping from to get into that food of comfort? If the food wasn't there, what would bring you comfort? So when you flip it, if you're seeking comfort, you might be in discomfort or dis-ease or distress or stress. You're escaping stress. You're self-soothing yourself with food. So by reducing stress, you're also, because when you're stressed, you're very constricted, or your vasoconstrictors, your vascular system is very constricted, sort of thing. You're trying to comfort yourself, self-soothe yourself with food. Now, to reduce the stress, when you reduce the root cause of what's causing you the stress, whatever it is in your life, then there's less need for the junk food or whatever brings you that comfort eating. Some people eat healthy things that are comfort eating, sort of thing, or their diet defines them. Where if you reduce the stress, then you can actually balance your life out a bit more. You're not seeking comfort in an extreme of something. Alcohol, cigarettes, we can tie those two together. If you're drinking to escape something, to disassociate from something, to feel good in something, to have a good time, in the sense of alcohol, once again, it's like looking at the outcome and flipping it around and saying, why? Why do you need something to feel good? Can't you just feel good? Why are you escaping from a situation in alcohol? Now, alcohol is a good escaper. It's a very good depressor as well. It'll lift you up and drop you down. Maybe people listening to me today might be with hangovers today, sort of thing, feeling that low of that high. In certain situations, like people need that drinking to deal with a stressful situation, social situations, whatever. But I guess if you reduce that stress, I'm not saying that give up alcohol, I'm just saying that overall consumption can actually be lessened. And because you deal with the root cause of something, which is a stress, whether it's stressful in your life, say in the social situation, going to a party, if you can handle the stress, well, not so much handle it, it's not because you're not consciously handling it, but if the stress is reduced, then you're not sort of consciously or subconsciously aware of it. You're just in the moment. You're not needing to escape or to put on a different mask of what you are. Although with alcohol, sometimes that mask will drop and we get the real version of a person, because we become liberated. With the sense of smoking, smoking is a self-soothing behavior. You're escaping stress in the situation of, if you're at work, sort of thing, you have to step outside to have a smoke, sort of thing. Sometimes when there's a lot of stress at work, you have to step outside to have a smoke. Even the act of smoking itself, you're exhaling, you're taking a and the extended exhale actually switches on the parasympathetic nerve. Yes, there's all the nicotine and everything else, sort of thing, which is a great way of hooking you in. But to escape from your stressful environment, to actually be breathing out, extending that exhale, that puts you in that rest and dedigest stage. And I guess in that dedigest stage, like people might eat more while having cigarettes, which adds to another comfort eating, which is the stress. So by reducing the stress, you actually reduce the overall urge to have a cigarette. And even if you've, like, I've never tried to give up smoking, I've never been a smoker, but from what I've seen through my work and through people, is that giving up smoking is quite stressful. It's not a, well, for some people can make that decision and that's it. For other people, it's, it's almost a substituting of for something else, whether it's like a gum sort of thing. It's kind of substituting one for the other, but in a lesser form, whilst the stress is still there and you're still chewing away, sort of thing. So it's like that Band-Aid solution almost. Why not deal with it at the root cause? Now, exercise, I guess, like there is like genuine like wanting to feel good, like feeling stronger in yourself and all that. There's also where you're pushing yourself to go to that limit where you're actually doing yourself harm. And I guess it's like looking at why you want to be better in that. Is it to be more muscular to impress the girls or boys, or is it like to have a better image that you're not actually happy with your own image, not so much your, your, I guess, in a sense of self-love sort of thing. You're not, if you're punishing yourself to get this physique sort of thing, if you're punishing yourself, it's not self-love. It's like trying to get something that it's almost like an escaping of like a self that you don't like. So, and that can be quite stressful. It's like looking in the mirror and just not being happy with the reflection sort of thing. That self-improvement, it's not so much self-improvement, it's I guess changing of a mask, putting on a different mask, or a mask on top of a mask. So it's not your true self. And that can be very stressful physically to your body, and also to your emotions, to your mind, and probably to the bank account as well. Now, all of these things, and even health, let's look at health. I almost left that off. The stress cause, like we've just come out of 2020, the year of COVID. What's the name of that? All that stress from like my first intuitive EFT tap and chat was coronavirus consumption sort of thing. It's like reducing your consumption of watching news or alternative media, because watching something that you can't actually do much about, like if you're watching a forest fire, for example, are you expected to go fight the forest fire, or are you expected to sit and feel your own forest fire of the inflammation of stress within yourself, because you can't actually do anything? You're just sitting there consuming the media or alternative media about how bad and how terrible and how miserable and everyone's dying sort of thing. And there's that, once again, returning to that guilt of that emotion. What am I to do? Am I to sit here and stew in my inflammation, in my stress? Because that's what stress does to the body. It causes inflammation, or a rusting of the arteries. So, and even with our breath, like if we get really overwhelmed and just breathe, panic breathing, we're getting that oxidative stress. So almost by looking, and it's very hard to just go, and because this is a global sort of what in the EFT world, this would be known as a global tapping, and it's not specific to your needs or your environment. It's hard to just do a tapping and go, well, stress cleared your resolutions. It's not realistic sort of thing. It's like it would be working like with an EFT practitioner, myself and Rebecca, to actually reduce that stress, to actually get yourself into an optimal flow of achieving your New Year's resolution, and I guess resolving, breaking down, untying. And that's a key word in there, untying, because when you are bound by something like stress, constriction, traumas, emotional stuff, it is, when you do free yourself from that, it is like an unloosening, an untying of those binds, those stressful binds. it's very much like the relief from when a headache finally goes away. So I guess when you reduce looking, yeah, that's probably how I want to frame it, is looking at what your New Year's resolution is, like what your goal is, and then working backwards as to why you want that goal. It's like it's no good me saying I want $1 million, and it's like, why would I want $1 million sort of thing? It's like, what purpose would that serve for me? It's like, yeah, good to have more money, but for what reason, sort of thing? Or I wanted my New Year's resolutions to be more muscular, but for what reason? And by asking the question why, you might get to the honest answer of why you want that end result. And for some people, it's going to be a quite realistic. For other people, it might be just because, you know, I want the next iPhone because so and so wants it. You know, it's like to be seen, to be part of a crowd. So what we might do is we'll do an EFT tapping on reducing stress or moving towards resolving the stress to actually achieving your New Year's resolution. And sorry, taking full responsibility for your own being. We'll start by tapping 3 times on each side of the hand, and then we'll move into the tapping points. So a quick drink. So even though I have this New Year's resolution that I really want to achieve, and it's something that will bring me true happiness in my life, I still deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself, even though I have this New Year's resolution and I've set this time frame of when I want to achieve it. I still deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself, even though there's this thing in my life that I really want, and I no longer want to be what I was last year. I still deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. This New Year's resolution, that I've set for myself, and I'm going to achieve it because it's truly what I want. All this resolution, all this New Year's resolution, a new year, a new me. Gone with the old me, stepping into a new me. All this New Year's resolution. And I'm going to be resolute. I'm not going to waver. I'm going to be a high definition resolution. My vision is clear on what I want. This New Year's resolution. All this New Year's resolution. And even though if I find myself not achieving this New Year's resolution. And I find myself failing. Or I might perceive myself to be failing in achieving this new me. And I start to get really stressed. So when I look on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is, there's people out there achieving their best lives. And I might have had another drink. I might have had another smoke. I might have not done my routine for the day. And I start to beat myself up. And I start to get really stressed by it. And I get very, very stressed. I get overwhelmed with stress. Until that high def resolution of what I wanted starts to get lower in quality. I start to see myself in low quality. I might feel guilt. I might feel anger. I might feel shame. And I feel very stressed. So everyone else is doing well in life. And I'm just a failure. Maybe. Or maybe that's where I'm directing my focus. Because where attention goes, energy flows. If I focus all my attention into how I'm a failure, how I feel guilty, how much anger I experience for not being resolute, then I'm going to fulfill that prophecy. So I'm going to shift my perspective. I'm going to reframe my way of thinking. I'm going to ask myself why. Why am I pushing myself so hard? Why am I feeling stressed? Why am I valuing other people's opinions about myself? If their opinions are saying, hey, you're failing, you're not being resolute, it's kind of like music. Do you want to spend your year listening to depressing music? Or do you want to spend your year listening to uplifting music? So it might be listening to people that lift you up. But I'm so stressed. I just haven't achieved it by this deadline that I set for myself. This new life that I've set for myself. This new blossoming life. I've put a deadline on. There is a line of death on this New Year's resolution. on this new me. It's like I've put my head in a guillotine and said, if I don't achieve it by X day or Y day, I'm going to release the guillotine. I'm going to release this deadline on myself. I'm going to feel really bad about that. So maybe, just maybe, is this New Year's resolution what will bring me happiness? Is this New Year's resolution a result to a solution that I've been trying to fix? But I might not know what the solution is or what the problem is. So rather putting a deadline on myself, whatever New Year's resolution I set for myself, I'm giving myself the permission to grow slowly into it, day by day, and little by little. And I'm not going to punish myself if I don't achieve this resolution. In this imaginary timeline that I've set for myself. Because like with a tree, something that grows big, strong, and whether people admire it or not, or just enjoy sitting underneath it, these things take time to grow. And I'm giving myself the permission. And I'm going to give myself the time and space to grow into a new me. A new year, a new me. And yelling at a tree, getting really angry at it, making the tree feel guilty, making the tree feel very shameful, just doesn't make it grow any quicker. Might even stunt its growth. So I'm going to nurture it. I'm going to nurture it by taking care of myself, by reducing my stress. Because when you think about stress, it's kind of like growing a tree in hard, compacted clay. The roots just won't spread out and get a good foundation. So I'm going to nurture myself by releasing the stress, releasing this constriction, releasing this constriction in my body, releasing this constriction in my mind. It takes time to grow. Releasing the stress in my body. don't need the stress of a deadline. Got enough of those in my life. I'm releasing the stress. Loosening up that ground. So I have a chance to grow into my New Year's resolution. Giving myself the expansion to grow into. And I'm not bad or stupid. For my way of thinking. It's just what I've learned in mind, body, and spirit. Taking a deep breath in. And seeing where that sits for you in your body, whether you feel a little bit more expanded, whether it hit a nerve and you may be a little bit more contracted. With EFT, sometimes, well, perfect example, sometimes you have to empty the glass and let either allow space for the good stuff to come in, like, or just have space for whatever you choose to put into it, or just allow the natural stuff to, the good stuff to arise, like clear out the crap basically, and allow the good stuff to arise. So whatever New Year's resolution, being resolute, that you set for yourself, just give yourself time to grow into it. Maybe it's not the resolution that you wanted to start off with. Maybe it was the start of something to get to something else, sort of thing. It's like, hey, dieting wasn't the thing that I needed. It was actually this other thing that I needed to take care of myself for first, and maybe that would result in weight loss. Whatever it is, I guess, like with the metaphor of screaming at a tree, it doesn't help its growth. It's a waste of energy. You're wasting your own energy that can actually go into setting your New Year's resolution and put it into fruition. So that's my New Year's intuitive EFT Tap and Chat. I'm Dion from Eflowtion, an EFT practitioner and a Soma Ref instructor. Soma Ref is also very good at, I guess, getting rid of old negative imprinting and sort of re-imprinting positive imprinting to really set that intention. So if you're interested, definitely book in a session with us. And my wife, Rebecca, is also an EFT practitioner. So you've got different styles, different ways of connecting to a person, male, female, personalities, whatever it is. So if you're interested in the session, definitely book in, and we look forward to hearing from you. And Happy New Year, and stay positive, stay happy, healthy, and harmonious. I'm Dion, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.